What up, Dice family? It's your boy Camp with MSTV. If you're new to the channel, thanks for smashing this video. If you're returning, welcome back. It's been a minute, I've been MIA, but we're gonna get right into it. In this video, gonna be one of the best pieces of information that I have given out. All right, so what is that piece of information? What are we talking about today? Man, release height. The release height of the dice. The thing that's so misunderstood. The height and the arc of the dice. People don't know what the height of that arc is, and where to release to get that height. So we already know the arc needs to be a 45-degree angle on most tables. We already know that to get the arc, but we don't know how high we need to throw the dice. All right. Today we're going to be discussing a lower release or a higher release. Which one are we looking for? Let's get right into it. All right, so a few things to go over before we dive into this. Just some tune-ups, just some real quick reviews that led up to this. So we know we want to grip our dice. For all my 3-finger players out there, this is how you'll be gripping the dice if you're gripping like myself. All right. We know that I'm gripping more with my fingertips than my finger pads. We also know that we are trying to keep, I want to tell you something. So first, in order for your release to be right, I want to kind of clarify some things up with the release before we go into this. Well, you know what? Never mind. Let's just go ahead and throw, and we'll talk it out during this. So first, let's go with a higher release. Okay, let's go with the higher release of the dice. So that means we're gonna hold on, the higher release means we're gonna hold on to the dice a little bit longer than normal. So here we go. Whoops, and I dropped them right there. We wanna go with the high release. This is a high release. All right, that was with a high release. Now I know some of this is cringe when I pick up this camera and take it with me. Bear with me, I'm gonna get better at it. I gotta learn how to edit and do some things or set up another camera, but for right now, this is what we got. Sorry, 5.2, all right? 5.27, man, and I wasn't trying to shoot a 7 at all. But that just lets you know that high release is already not looking too good. And you know why? Because with a higher release, the longer we hold on to the dice. That's exactly why you don't want a high release. Let's go with another high release though. I'm gonna try to do a real good shot with a high release, okay? That was a high release. Okay. So the outcome for that was this, a 33. And that's, you know, that may be because that's what I normally shoot. Hard ways, but still, 7 came first. That was just because I was able to get really good control over the dice. So we'll shoot one more high release shot. Okay, here we go, high release. All right, then again, a 7, ladies and gentlemen. You see that? So high release. Those were the shots with the high release. That was 3 high releases. We got 1 hard 6 and 2 7s, all right? So you probably already know where I'm going with this. We're gonna do the lower release, and I'm gonna talk more about this in depth going over the lower release. The lower release, the reason I like the lower release, please pay close attention. Listen very carefully. I like the lower release. I favor with the lower release because, you know the analogy I always use, a golf swing. You know how in a golf swing, you have to keep the face in a certain position all the way through the golf ball. Then only after you hit the golf ball can you begin to do things with your wrist, okay? But when you are going to hit the golf ball, there are certain things you must do to hit the ball right, make proper connection, optimal impact, position. I talked about that in some videos back. But you have to keep the face that way in a sweeping motion until you get through the ball. Only after is when you can start playing around with your wrist. Same thing goes for dice, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we want to get rid of the dice a little bit earlier, because what does your wrist automatically want to do? Anybody who's tried to throw with the pendulum swing has experienced this. If you're trying to throw, your wrist wants to not stay straight, but it wants to turn. It wants to go out of those ranges. It wants to go out of those elements, all those elements of ranges of motion. It wants to go out of those ranges of motion. So what do we do to nullify that? That means we get rid of the dice before our wrist starts to go out of range. That's why you want to release low. That is the key, the most important piece. So we're going to try to release the dice lower. By doing this, we are able to maintain the same position of the dice all the way through. We want to release before. Now, after the release, cool. Let your wrist do whatever it wants to do, but I don't encourage it. Keep your wrist straight all the time. But after you release, it's fine. It's just when from backswing on through, you want to keep it in the same position until you release. So let's try that. Lower release. Ooh, and I love that already. 3-1. I'm getting a call on my phone. It's now like I do these days, but getting a call on my phone for a minute. Hopefully I can just let it ring. All right, so we came with a 3-1. We got a 3-1, baby. I like that already. It feels good. Let's see what we get here. Ooh, almost a 33. But as you can see, 6-3. Sorry again for having to pick the camera up and moving it. Hope you can bear with me. I'm gonna have to cut this video short because I'm getting a call, so hopefully I'll throw something pretty right here. But lower release. And boom. What do we see me throw all the time? 55. Those hard waves rain. So, in conclusion, I'm sorry that I have to speed this up. I'm getting an important call. I'm so sorry. But in conclusion, I'm releasing lower. I'm releasing more lower than higher. There's not a certain height, but people don't realize if you release at the right height, your height is gonna automatically, the height of the arc is gonna automatically be right. All right, I hope you made it to this part of the video so you can hear this. If you release at the right height, then your dice height, the arc, is gonna be correct automatically. Don't high release, don't low release. I'm sorry I can't spend more time with you, Dice Camp. I love you. Do something nice for somebody.